The Fresno State basketball season ended in a merciful 86-71 loss to Nevada. I can speak for all Fresno State fans when I say, thank goodness. Before I go on, I want to congratulate Colorado State for winning the conference tournament, and for Utah State, San Diego State, New Mexico, and Gonzaga for making the tournament. Notice, all but one of those teams are going to be in the pack in 2026. St. Mary's is also a possibility. So that is just one example of how the pack is going to be better than the Mountain West, certainly for basketball. I don't expect next year to be any different, which is an example of why the Bulldog basketball program has to pick it up. But we will get there. I mean, it was a horrible season almost from the jump, and the record says it all. They were 6-26 overall, 2-18 in conference, most losses ever, 1-14 on the road, and a below 200 win percentage, 188 to be exact. Needless to say, this is the worst team in program history. In some ways, they were jinxed from the start. They lost players that they were counting on to really be impact players to ineligibility issues. Hassan Joof, however you say his name, could not play all year long. They were counting him. Malik Robertson had ineligibility issues that turned out to be related to the gambling scandal. And they had a bunch of injuries. Another player that they were counting to help them on, Douglas, barely played. And when they got him back, he got a game-time shot at home against Nevada, only for to lose them the rest of the year. And that game against Nevada at home really does sum up a lot of the season. Although you could say that about almost any of their losses at home. They could have won all of them except the one against San Diego State in conference. They didn't. On the road, they only won. I don't think they won any, actually. No, they won one. And yeah, on the road, they generally got their butts kicked, except at, surprisingly enough, Utah State could have won that game. Wyoming, I would argue they should have. And the close losses generally were the same theme. They just could not get over the hump for whatever reason. They would make mistakes that they had no business making. Some of that may have been related to gambling. But again, guys like Crawford, Douglas, Elijah Price, they kept making the same mistake over and over and over again. And it just got to the point where, was it coaching? Was it just players being stupid? They never got over that hump throughout the year of the close losses. For whatever reason, they did not make free throws, did not make, like the game at Wyoming. All they had to do was foul Wyoming before they took a game time free to get them in overtime. They didn't do it. That is basic basketball fundamentals, and this team had trouble doing it. That to me was not scheme. That was just bad coaching, and never got better. And I sound like a broken record saying it, but it's true. They just, again, throughout the year, continued to not be able to fix those mistakes. And I'm not convinced it's going to be better next season with Wahlberg, but he's going to be back next year. The basketball scandal has more or less died down. He has, all reports say that he did everything he needed to do legally and according to MCAA bylaws. So he's going to have next season. What is he going to have to do for next season to be the coach in 2026 when they sign the pack? Well, they have to have a winning record. I think that is just beyond dispute. And they have to make something like the NIT to justify giving Wahlberg another year. Classy will want to make his own hire. He has shown that with how he handled the football situation. And if you give him a reason to, I'm sure he would. A lot of Bulldog fans want him gone. We saw how he did at Pepperdine. It was awful for those 2 years there in about 2 decades ago. And again, this season, there were still players made a lot of bad decisions and just bad coaching. No reason to think it's going to get much better. But he's going to get it. He's going to have to keep players like Elijah Price. He's going to have to, who are freshmen and who he claims to be huge for this team. He will have things he didn't have last year. He was hired very, very late because we didn't have an AD at the time, and the president basically hired him to shut up his friends in Clovis who were badgering the university to hire him for years, and they said they'd bring in a bunch of NIL money. Well, now he has a full off season, him and his backers, to make that happen. We shall see. I myself am personally very skeptical of it, but we shall see. This is not a basketball dry area in terms of fan support. I will do another video about a month or so about the history of Fresno State basketball, and you will see if you go back in time, it's not from a lack of people caring. We've been trying to fix the program. If you have a decent team, people will show up. It's just they've not been any good. And that's got to get better. That's probably the only thing a Fresno State fan can say right now about this team. They have to get better. Got to do it fast. We'll pull our weight for football in the bat and ball sports. And if you get 2 out of 3 of those, you're doing your part. You know, all these pack moves, all these moves about who's going to be in it and so forth, it's all about football. And Fresno State will do that. But you need to have a basketball program to help. You can't be such a deadweight that you drag the conference down. And right now, that's what we are. And it's embarrassing. So mercifully, the season came to a relatively quick end. And that's always the best thing you can say about it. And thank goodness it is.